All right, so we made a little trip to Lowe's. We got 40 of these fencing planks. Shoot, I don't know how many of these we got. I think we have 24. No, we probably have about 32 or so of these little 1x2 inch fir strips. And then we have a couple scrap pieces of wood. And the goal today is going to be an interesting one. So we plan on building a surround for the septic system for the cabin, and it's right there. And it's 14 feet by 3 feet is what we're gonna have to build in terms of framing around it, and then we're gonna build kind of a top platform. But I didn't want to dump a lot of money into this because all it's really designed to do is keep people from stepping on it or playing around it or tripping over it. Basically trying to make it a bit of a more, I guess, concealed and blocked off area of the yard. And we're going to try to just put something together. I wanted this project to be as cheap as possible, but anything with the word lumber and cheap don't really go in the same sentence together. Spent about $150 on materials. Got a couple cans of the Thompson water seal just because these first strips aren't treated, but they're not going to be making ground contact, so they should last quite a while. All of this stuff is pressure treated, so those were about $2 each. These were about $2 for each piece as well. So everything all in all was pretty affordable considering how high and crazy prices have gotten. Got some deck screws, got some hinges because I want to make the end of it kind of flap open in case I need to manually test the pump or do any service on it. I don't want to have to take the whole thing apart, but it's going to be really lightweight just because of how we're framing it off, and you know, 2 people should be able to easily lift the thing over and off if we need to move it. But that's a project for today. We're going to go ahead and get started on it and knock it out. So tools I'm using a yardstick, have a square, made a little line here at the 30-inch tall mark because that's essentially how tall it's going to be, is 30 inches, and it's going to be 3 feet wide, so 36 inches wide. Got my DeWalt little miter saw that's 20 volts. I love this thing, and this is what we're going to be using. So essentially what we need to do is cut each one of these planks down to 2 30-inch sections, and then we'll have about an extra foot of scrap off of the end of it once we are done doing that. And then these right here are going to be our horizontal braces, and these will be our vertical. So it'll be like a little picket fence going around. So let's get to cutting. Okay, and because each one of these strips is going to be cut down to 2 30-inch segments, we have 30 inches marked here. Then I have essentially the kerf thickness of the blade separating it. So it's about 30 1/8 right here away, because once you cut the lumber, you're going to lose part of your wood. So yeah, we're just going to measure these out. We have 30 here, and then once you throw the board up here, you have your first cut and you have your second cut. And he's just going to use the square to be able to line it up and make the lines what we need to do. So that's it. And then we just got to go through all of these, cut these down. So we'll go ahead and magically transition to a bunch of cut boards. Okay, so far we've got some lumber cut over here. I need to essentially double that. So I need to finish that off, and then I need 12 more pieces for the ends. And then we'll start laying this stuff out. Use my DeWalt nail gun to get everything put in place. Really nice having all the same battery powered tools, so you don't have to switch and find your Makita batteries, your Milwaukee batteries, and everything else. I'm not going to say I'm a huge fan of DeWalt. I've had issues with some of their tools, but when you have so much invested in batteries, you pretty much have to stick with one brand. Oh, he's waiting on me, so I need to cut this down here, and then he'll get those prepped. Okay, so we have all the slats cut out over here, and right here, these are going to be our horizontal braces, and I'm simply going to put them across here, kind of like a picket fence at home. It's just going to set on the ground. These will just make ground contact since they're pressure treated. We're just creating the gaps in between. Well, that turned out really well. Help on my DeWalt nailer. Or we use 6 nails in each board, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. It's actually upside down right now, so we'll flip it over whenever it gets time to install. That way all the pressure treated stuff will be ground contact and the rest of it won't. But I also bought a box of screws, and we're going to put 1 screw in as well in each spot just to give it some extra reinforcement so it holds up a little bit better over time. Yeah, we have plenty of lumber here to finish off the rest of it, but yeah, we just basically need to replicate this, then make 4 additional feet off of each end, and we have a little bit of wood sticking off the end there so we can attach them together whenever it's in place. Okay, just reloading the nail gun. This is what it kind of turned out to look like. Just putting a kind of an edge around it. We want to keep the top open only because if we need to service it or get in there with weed killer or a string trimmer or anything like that, we want to have that capability. But check it out. I mean, it turned out okay. We braced it in a couple areas where we needed to. We wanted to keep it relatively lightweight, but at the same time, it needs to be heavy enough that the wind's not going to blow it around. Trust me, it's pretty dang heavy. Each of the segments were pretty heavy. We've reinforced the body of it quite a bit. We've put some cross bracing in here. Yeah, it's pretty effective for what we were trying to accomplish, and for 150 bucks in lumber and materials, screws, everything we needed, turned out pretty good. We're not done. We're still putting some trimming around it, kind of bracing it a little bit more, but we're getting there. What are your thoughts? Come on, buddy. So here it is, the finished product, or whatever you want to call it. It's basically just designed to house the septic. I know it looks a little different than the last segment here because we removed a little cross bracing. We added kind of a different look. The whole point is that it would be easily accessible by the actual septic company if they need to get in here and drain it. And it's easy enough for us to remove. I'm going to put some more slats across the top of it just so my wife can put plants or things like that on it. We're going to kind of frame it, put some white stone in it, and it'll just give us the ability to make it look a little bit nicer. But it's going to essentially keep it away from, you know, where any of the kids might be playing, and keep them out of it, because that's kind of the key. We just don't want to run the risk that, you know, any little kids trip over any of the equipment or climb onto it and things like that. So part of it is going to be us keeping an eye on it and making sure no one gets near it. But yeah, it'll have a cover on top of it, and it's essentially what it looks like. So what do you guys think? Bit of a project. It's kind of fun. It you know, anytime I get a chance to chop in some wood and use my power tools, I mean, it's always a good day. And it turned out really well. So we have the trampoline, the swings, more swings. There's another little swing hanging down from the tree right there that you might be able to see. But yeah, we now have the ability to really get some good usage out of here and not worry about the kids tripping over the septic system. So I got Buddy down here who is grabbing just about anything he can. He's still such a good dog, follows me around everywhere. If you guys didn't see the video I posted a little while back, talked about how somebody left this dog on the side of a major highway here in town, and in the rain we pulled over and just sitting down howling, and it's just really sad. So we took him in, got him his shots, cleaned up the fleas, dewormed him, chipped him, just everything you can imagine. He's put on 4 pounds since we've had him. He is super cute, and he is such a friendly dog. Come on. But he's my little companion. He follows me around everywhere I go. Definitely makes sure that none of the leaves are going to attack me. Buddy, what are you doing? Crazy dog. What do you guys think? I know a lot of people think it's flimsy. It is certainly not flimsy. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this very strange video. Again, more improvements around here, things that we're just trying to do to make it look a little nicer. Once we put the landscaping logs around, we put some white stone around it, I think it'll look a lot nicer. And then I'll put the slats on top. I'll reinforce it a little bit more so we can actually use it as maybe like a surface for, you know, something we might want. But that's essentially it. And we have a birthday coming up, so we figured we'd get this all prepped up and covered and out of the way. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you've enjoyed this very awkward video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Isn't that right, buddy? Isn't that right, buddy?